Alright everybody, I've had a lot of requests to show how to make a Crested Gecko laybox. It's really pretty simple. You only need a few tools, so I'm just going to show you real quick. Before we start, if you have a naturalistic setup like dirt, something like that in the bottom of your enclosure, you're really not going to need a laybox, and there's no guarantee that the gecko will use the laybox if you've got a naturalistic setup. These are for use in setups where you've got like paper towels substrate, something like that. This gives the female a nice place to lay, and I encourage you to start putting lay boxes in when the female hits about 20 grams or so, because they will lay infertile eggs even if they've never been with a male. So if you've got females, provide them with somewhere to lay their eggs. I like these Gladware containers. They're really cheap. You get 3 of them for like $5 at Wally World or whatever. So just look around for the best deal. I like these because they're a couple inches deep, and my girls like to dig deep when they're laying. I also have a wood burning tool, and these are not expensive. They're probably like $9. Look around at hobby shops, craft shops. If you've got a Hobby Lobby near you, every 2 weeks or so they have a 40% off coupon. You can save yourself a lot of money buying something like this. I use a rounded blunt tip, but it really doesn't matter what kind of tip you use. I think these things usually come with this wedge type tip, and that'll work fine. The reason I like to use a burning tool instead of a drill or something like that is because the burning tool creates nice rounded edges when you poke it into the plastic. You could also use a soldering iron if you've got one of those on hand. Big thing, if you're using a burning tool with plastic, you really need to ventilate the area well. I've got a fan running on one side of me, I've got a wide open garage door on the other, so don't do this inside. Okay, keeping in mind that this tool is very, very hot, you never want to touch any of the metal on it. Also, don't set it directly down on any wood surfaces or anything that will burn. Use a little holder, it usually comes with it. You're just going to want to make a line of aeration holes around near the top of the lay box. You just have to press it in like that. And so on. Do it all the way around near the top so that when you put your laying substrate in here, it won't spill out in the holes. Okay, I've made holes all the way around the sides of the container near the top. Now what I want to do is create a little hatch for the gecko to go down into the lay box. You can just do this again with your tool. You can make a U shape or an N, however you want to look at it. And you're just going to go over this a few times. And this is actually a point where that wedge-shaped tool head would work well, because it would cut into the plastic a little bit faster than the round tool. If you get little drips, you can just roll the heater back over it, roll the tool back over it. Now this little thing doesn't want to stay down by itself, and that might be a little bit difficult for a crested gecko to push all the way down. They're not that hefty. So you can just lightly run the tool across this a few times while pressing down. That just weakens the plastic a little bit. So it creates a little bit of a hatch. And you can even remove this all the way if you want to. I just like to keep it there because I don't know, it gives me some peace of mind. It's something easy that they can crawl back up out of. And then you just want to go ahead and place a bunch of holes all through the top. The reason we add all these holes is to provide good ventilation for the laybox. So you're just going to have dirt sitting in there, dirt type substrate, and that can mold up kind of quickly if you don't have enough air. So you want to put holes all the way across the entire top of the container. So that was really easy. Holes everywhere, along the sides too. You've got a little hatch that stays open. No sharp cutting edges for the gecko. I don't do the neatest job. I don't really plan things out very much in advance, as you can tell. But I mean, if you really care what it looks like, go ahead, plan out your course, make little constellations. I don't care. Just make sure there's some kind of ventilation going on in there. As far as filling your laybox, you can go a couple different ways. I've heard some people just fill theirs with vermiculite. Some people use straight perlite. I've not used either of those two methods, so I can't verify how they work, but what I do use is organic sphagnum peat moss, and I got this huge cubic foot for $6 at my local nursery. You can find it just about anywhere. You just gotta ask around, but make sure it's organic, nothing inside of it. No fertilizers, no pesticides, anything like that. And then you just want to mix it with a little bit of organic potting soil, which is already in here. And it might be dry when you first pull it out of the bag. So you just kind of take it and mix it together a little bit. One thing to keep in mind with the sphagnum peat moss is that there can be a lot of debris in it from being all natural type sort of thing, I guess. Little pieces of stick and large dirt chunks. So take out the sticks. Yeah, it'll take a little bit of time to do it, but it's not a big deal. Just remove them, throw them out, so your gecko doesn't end up ingesting any of these pieces. And now that I look at it, it's nice and full. Not quite up to the holes, but it's still pretty dry, so I'm going to add a little bit of water. Okay, so our laybox is pretty much filled. I've added a little bit of water. The stuff doesn't clump together. You still want it to be kind of fluffy. You want it to feel a little bit moist, but not like soaking. Still just feels really fluffy. Not quite up to the holes. Add that right in. The gecko can just walk right on in there and bury her eggs to her heart's content. Let me know if you have any questions.